My name is Jonette Dunn. I'm originally from Covington, Louisiana. We have been living in Baton Rouge for the past 25 years. And I am the mother of April Dunn. I adopted her when she was 5 months old. I can remember her spirit when she was a younger person. I can remember in high school, she would always tell me that when she grew up, she wanted to help people. And I didn't fully understand what she meant by that. And I would question her and she'd say, I want to help people with disabilities, but I had no idea, where she was headed with that. And it was in my mind, what can she possibly do?
My name is Jamar Lanier Ennis. I'm the Assistant Director of the Governor's Office of Disability Affairs in Louisiana. We went to the same high school. It was a school, Redemptorist High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It was a private school. So they had programs for individuals with disabilities, and I noticed one year April stopped going. Mm-hmm. So, and after talking to her about it, whenever we started working together, the program that was situated at Redemptorist High School was not challenging enough for her. It was my understanding that they gave her a certificate whenever she went to her new school, which I believe was Glen Oaks High. Mm-hmm. That wasn't good enough. So with her, even though she wasn't the beneficiary of what she argued for and articulated so well in front of the legislature for a diploma, she did not give up.
She loved going to the state capitol. She loved testifying before committees. Personally, I know at home, she would call senators and representatives at all hours of the night if something came on her mind. She did not hesitate to give them a call and say, this is what I'd like you to do, or this is what is needed to be done. So, she was really a go-getter. It was just amazing. And I will always tell her, you need to be respectful of other people's time. And she'll say, okay, mommy. But the next thing I knew, she was calling somebody else if something got on her mind. So she was very determined. She did not give up easily at all. If she got a no, she would keep on trying until someone gave her a yes.
Well, before becoming governor, I was in the Louisiana House of Representatives and on the Education Committee. And she testified in front of the Education Committee on several occasions. But I remember in 2014, she testified in favor of a bill that would go on to become, I believe it was Act 833 of that year. And she was interested in making sure that students with disabilities had pathways for promotion and graduation because she had already finished school, but she wasn't able to get a diploma. And she just thought that was wrong and that there ought to be a way for her, well, not really for her because she had already graduated, but for other students with disabilities like her to have those pathways. And so she came and testified on in support of the bill. And I was on the committee that heard her testify. So that's how I got to know April. And again, that was 7 years ago.
She did not accept that she wouldn't accept anything that she wouldn't be comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And she will let you know about it. And an example is her education. She valued it so much, and she wanted to make sure that individuals who wanted to succeed had a chance to. And even if she wasn't the direct beneficiary of it, I think that's one of the many special things about April that I've had the pleasure of just being in the room and just watching her, allow others to get the benefit. And she was always so good with that, with arguing and articulate the needs for individuals just like her.
The first time I heard her testify at the state capitol, it was for the Diploma Bill, which is now the April Dunn Act. But I think she was maybe 28 years old or so when she testified for that bill. But I can remember sitting there beside her and you could hear a pin drop in the room. It was just amazing. She had everybody's attention.
And so Act 833 in 2014 is what resulted from April's work initially. And again, what's really noteworthy about that is it was too late to help her. She was already out of school, but she knew how important that would be for others.
As an educator, I see more and more students able to earn a high school diploma, which opens up the world to them. They can go on to college if they choose. They can go directly into the workforce if they choose. And they can really have meaningful employment. So this has really opened up a pathway for the students. And as a mom, I'm just so proud that so many kids will be able to earn a high school diploma because of this bill.
Last year, Act 1 of 2020. So this was the very first bill that I signed into the law in the legislative session in 2020. It was the year of the pandemic. As you know, in the COVID-19 pandemic, we had lost April, unfortunately. I think it was on March the 28th of 2020. She was the first employee of the executive branch of state government in Louisiana to die of COVID-19. And we thought it would be a very fitting thing to do is to pass a piece of legislation that I would sign into law that would rename Act 833 of 2014, the April Dunn Act, so that everybody would know that she championed that act and come to associate that work with her.
So, and I am a special education teacher. So every time I sit down to do an educational plan for a student, I see her name on every IEP that I do, every educational plan. The April Dunn Act is on that plan. So it's just amazing.
The impact will be that we will have a more diverse workforce. We would have more diverse leaders in positions like I'm in. I remember one day that April would have been, she should have been the CEO or an executive of some kind of advocacy group, or whether it be her own or someone or some other organization that made the lives of individuals with disabilities so much better. So I think that would be the one of the biggest effects, that most people who go on to college because of what April argued for, they can get that education, that higher education, and bring that to other spaces in leadership roles that will make a lifelong impression and do some great work in our communities. So that's what I know is going to happen. And that's what I expect is going to happen. That effect for employment, whether it be in higher education. So there's a lot of good of what April has done, in the spirit of Act 833. So I think it's just the beginning, and I think that's just going to just be one of the major cornerstones is employment and leadership.
The people of Louisiana should always associate April Dunn with that initiative and with some very meaningful and robust efforts for the state of Louisiana to be more inclusive when it comes to individuals with disabilities on the employment front, but also before that in terms of education.